Hello everyone to the EDAP 690 class, the class that Mayer built. This class is called Teaching with Multimedia Authoring Tools. Its theoretical basis is from a gentleman by the name of Richard Mayer. You're going to learn a lot about Richard Mayer. You may get a little sick of hearing about Richard Mayer, but his work is a seminal work on understanding how we learn from multimedia. Now, unfortunately, what a lot of people, or what has happened over the last 10, 15 years, is people have taken Mayer's work to mean learning from PowerPoints. Well, first of all, PowerPoint was never intended to teach anything. PowerPoint was created as an information sharing tool. It was never designed to be a teaching tool. And so the amount of use of PowerPoint in the classroom is really sad, because as long as what you're doing with it is you're basically just laying out, here's what we're going to do for the rest of the week, or here's what you need to find in our Google Classroom, then it's fine. Now, when I say PowerPoint, I should also say /Google Slides, because that's the world that you now live in. And what Mayer tries to get you to understand is that there are specific principles that he looks for in multimedia that allows us to learn. Multimedia goes way back in your life. You were a very small person when you first used multimedia. It was called looking at books that had pictures in it. And in fact, one of the things that Mayer talks about in his book is the idea that one of the most difficult texts to understand is also one of the most highly picturized of any textbook, and that's medical text. And so this idea that as we grew up, we didn't need to have pictures anymore because we were now reading. The growth of the graphic novels has sort of turned that on its head. You know, a graphic novel when I was a kid was called a comic book, and we shouldn't read them. Now we realize that comic books and graphic novels have extremely powerful messages to help kids who are struggling readers. We're going to be focusing on creation. And what I hope Mayer will help you with is to understand some of the signals and some of the look-fors when you are developing multimedia. We have quite a scope of them. We'll be using a lot of different tools. And I'm going to run through it real fast, and then we'll talk about how we're going to proceed. So when you get in here and you go to modules over here, you will click here again. So what we're going to do in our first module, and by the way, I've noticed that that one is not in the recordings. I don't know if I lost it. I'll find it. I know I have it somewhere, and I'll put it back up for you. But all we're doing here is we're going to make a Google Sites. And if you don't know what Google Sites is, well, we're going to show you how to do that. Google Sites is a part of the Google Classroom, can be a part of the Google Classroom. But if you will please not use your Google Classroom, if you're teaching in Jefferson County or anywhere else for that matter, please do not use that portal for your Google Sites. Just go and create the Google Sites on its own. The reason is simple. Right now, I do not have access to getting into Jefferson County Public Schools or Odom or any other school district like I used to. If you don't know it, I've retired from U of L, and I guess I should have reached out to my friends in all these school districts and said, hey, by the way, don't turn me off in your... Oh, you did. Okay. So we're going to make sure that we have it set aside. If you find what you are creating important and you would like to use it in your classroom, by all means, copy it, put it over into your Google Sites in your Google Classroom. Number 2, this is the lift of the course, if you will. Once we get through Mayer, it's all fun and games, to be quite frank about it. Here, we are going to be looking at his seminal work called Multimedia Learning. In Multimedia Learning, he goes through and lays out the case for why people learn best through the use of multimedia and how they learn through multimedia. The problem that we run into, as I was alluding to earlier, is we have assumed that multimedia just means showing pictures with words. That's the definition. What is multimedia? Pictures and words. But the problem with it is how that is implemented. And that is what Mayer tries to get across to you, is in his principles, he will outline for you what are the principles that must be in place before multimedia learning can go on. Now remember, we're not talking about passing along information. We're talking about learning. Two very different things. So that's our lift. We have a lot that we'll be doing with that. Then we're going to start having, I hope, fun for you. We're going to start using a lot of multimedia tools. And we're going to make these tools available so that you can make them your own. The first one we're going to use is Animoto. And using the Animoto, you're going to tell me the story of your journey into teaching. How did you become a teacher? You'll find that Animoto is a lot of fun. It's essentially you creating a music video, except the music is readily available to you through the Animoto. Our next one we're going to do is digital storytelling, a new teaching skill. This one really harkens back to Mayer. And as you can see, I'm trying to give you as many choices as I can. You will find that some of these choices are, you just look at them and you go, oh yeah, I like that. That's what I'm going to use. And that's great. You do not have to make one for each one of these choices. In other words, you don't need to make a Beyond, you don't need to make a Bitable, you don't need to make a Zimmer Twins. Just one of these. Or you could make a comic using Make Beliefs comics or storyboard that. Or if you are using a Chromebook, you can go get Toontastic. I find Toontastic, and I hope it's on every Chromebook. If you have a classroom with Chromebooks, I hope it's on there. It is one of the best tools to get kids engaged in creating their own digital stories. It's really, really a nice tool. And we'll demonstrate that too. I demonstrate all these, by the way, in the videos. I'll show you how they work. I'll show you the look fors, be careful abouts. Beyond only allows you to have a video window. In other words, you can only use your video that you create for like 2 weeks. So you need to, get it posted into the assignments and let me know you did it. Creating an audio story. Well, this one I'm kind of near and dear to. I have been using and creating and helping people understand how to use podcasts since its almost inception over 20 years ago. And I just think it's one of the most exciting things that we can do as teachers with kids. I will tell you many stories about using podcasts with children and them creating it. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to be using a tool called Soundation because it's online. If you've ever seen something called GarageBand, it's like GarageBand online. And our topic will be resiliency. This one is, like I said, near and dear to my heart. I hope you'll enjoy it. And then we're going to do something which is newer. It's called Google Tour. It's a web-based storytelling tool which uses Google Maps. It is one of the things that I really, really like about it is you can do all kinds of things with Google Maps. You can do historical journeys or just take a journey to places you've traveled to and share them with people. Good stuff, good stuff. One of the things that I've seen people do with Google Tour is they have had kids create the story of their lives using the Google Tour. And when you do it with ESL kids, oh my goodness, there is some amazing stories that have been made. And let's see, we're not going to do green screen because you're not with me. But here we go. So here's our hat. Here's our final. It's extremely simple, and I'll walk you through it. You're basically going to take a form that I've created for you right here, and you're going to copy and paste this into your Google Sites. And then you're going to go out and you're going to put for me either a presentation that you've made or one that you use in your classroom. And then you're going to look for the various Mayer principles in that, so that you can say, well, this really doesn't meet Mayer's principle of coherence or signaling or redundancy or spatial contiguity. Don't worry, you'll know what all this means. And that doesn't mean you have to find one that does hit all of these. That's the whole point of the class. If you go find a really stupid example, I mean, don't be too stupid with it, but if you go out and find a stupid example that doesn't get to these principles, and it'll have some of them, they all do, then that's fine. By the way, that you can use a YouTube, you can use, well, PowerPoint, you can use Google Slides. Well, there's a lot of Google Slide presentations out there. We really would like you to grab hold of those because that's what everybody is telling you to use in your classroom. Go take a look at them now. Once you get through the Mayer part of the class and you get your new Mayer lenses on where you can start looking at things through with a critical eye, feel free to use any of that kind of stuff. I've had people, like I said, who have gone out and took a look at the YouTube videos that they've used in their classrooms. And my, what happens when you look at them through the lens of Mayer? You really start seeing what were some of the violations and why your kids would kind of go, oh, do we have to watch that again? Okay. It has nothing to do with being engaging and entertaining. That's fine. But what we're really trying to get at here is, are we actually learning? That's the point. All right, now let's do some of the housekeeping chores. First of all, this is you're taking this class, and the way it's set up right now, it's in asynchronous format, meaning everything's in here, it's all created, it's ready to rock and roll. You basically come in and you can watch the recordings, and when you find something that you're confused about or something's wrong, and remember that this is technology we're talking about, and it changes so fast, it's remarkable. I was talking to someone the other day because they were wanting my opinion about the Google Classroom. I'm a big Google Classroom guy, by the way. But I said in 5 years, it'll be something totally different. Heck, now it's going to be 3 years. The change of technology necessitates that we have to become comfortable with change. And goodness, you know what I'm talking about if you're in an NTI situation. We have to realize that when we finally get back to the real classroom, there were some very powerful lessons that we learned from the NTI experience, because in that NTI experience, you were using an awful lot of multimedia if you stop and think about it. And now with this new set of understandings that you will have, you can go back and look at that. Please, please, please don't throw it all away. As hideous as some of those Zoom and Meet multimedia presentations were, you have to realize that there is something there. I've always maintained that the use of video conferencing has been way oversold. And I think that one of the most exciting things right now, if you're looking forward to looking further into this and wanting to pursue possibly further academic research, boy, it's a gold mine just sitting out there waiting for somebody to come along and start looking at what happened right and what happened wrong in this whole NTI world that we went through. Because it's asynchronous, everything will be here for you. But, and this is really important, because this goes back to right here, where I have the little blurby about taking an online class. See that right there? You do not hesitate 1 second to reach out to me. In fact, that's your first assignment. It's just to text me and say, hi, Steve, saw the video, got it. If you have any questions, go for it. I will go ahead and create if I can't find the module 1 about creating a Google site, so I'll go ahead and recreate it, but I'm pretty sure I can lay my hands back on it. And we'll get that back in there for you. But do not hesitate to reach out anytime. Anytime you need to text me. Also, if you are feeling like you're in over your head and you want to set up a time and a place to meet with me, we will do that within the Collaborate. You know what Collaborate is by now. And there it is. We will meet up in the Collaborate, and we can have a synchronous session with you and me. And if you need that, In other words, if you want to meet at a specific place and time on a specific day, don't hesitate. 457-2937. You'll hear me do that over and over and over again because, you know, it's like a telethon, right? 502-457-2937. If you want to set something up like that, then you just reach out and text me and say, can we meet on Tuesdays at 4? And if I can do it, then we'll do it. And we'll meet until you're either comfortable and you can say, okay, you can let go. I think I've got it now, and I'm going to go all the way through it on my own. Always remember, do not sit there and freak out. Get back onto your phone, text me. Heck, you can call me. That's my phone number. And ask the question that's got you so kerfuffled, and I will help you get it done. Oh, one last thing. There's your assignments. They're right there. And, you know, all this is very clear. It's all very straightforward. Nothing fancy here, folks. No gotchas. I promise you there are no gotchas. The syllabus is right there. Well, I'm seeing it the way I see it. There it is. There's the syllabus. So it's all here. Again, if you have any questions, and your first assignment is, you're going to text me and say, I've seen the video, I've got it, and I have this question, or I'm all set and ready to go. When do we have to have it finished? Boy, and you know what? Let's go look at that real fast, because I haven't even looked at that. So let's jump in here. See how fast I can fly through all this stuff. And let me get in. Let's take a look at our class. Excuse me. That wasn't very polite, was it? And let's see, class roster. There we are. And there you are. And I don't want to see the class roster. I just want to see my schedule. Thank you very much. So we, hello. They don't have the new one up. Well, that's interesting. Oh, change the term. My bad. We are in spring 21. Okay, there we go. And we have 2 people enrolled, so we have until April 29th. You get this done by March, fine. Don't wait till the very end. As you see, there's not a lot of stuff that you have to, modules I mean, that you have to do. And so I do that deliberately because I want you to think about what you're doing and have the time to kind of soak it in. So, questions, don't hesitate. If you freak out, don't hesitate. I'm here. The most important thing for me is for you to have a good class experience. Alrighty. I'm going to go ahead and go look for this module 1 and get it in there tonight. Your homework is to send me a text at 502-457-2937 and say you've seen this video. I will talk at you later.